to humanity. We'll be right back. Humanity. Hey, Jean, I'm curious about, and I've heard this, and I want to know, you're talking about the astrological signs. I've always heard that we have, like, there's 12 of us, because I always thought there were 12 signs, and we're all in different dimensions, and we're living 12 different dimensions at one time. Is that right?
No.
Okay. There's only one of me.
There's infinite of you.
Okay, I like that part.
Yep.
Okay, explain.
Yeah, every time you make a decision, or you even
Okay.
decide not to make a decision about something, that's a
Okay.
decision.
Okay.
So every decision creates a you, a different universe, a different reality. And then those that resonate with that same kind of decision-making process that you use to get to that decision would be in that, because they share the same resonant frequency. And that
There could be lots of me.
Yeah, infinite.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Because this goes back in time. That means your parents, your grandparents are creating those too. So the you that's here is from a you that, your great grandparents set in motion, and then that you're continuing to split out infinitely. And then whether that remains viable or not depends on if it's enough different from nearby timelines. In other words, it changes the quantum vibration, what they call in the two-slit experiment, collapsing the wave function. You look at particle bombardment through two slits, you see a particle wave if somebody's observing it. If you don't, you see a wave pattern. So a person observing it has their point of observation. So they see the particles that are resonant in the same resonant frequency as them. So that is delineating the universe they're in. But if no one's observing it, you see the entire variation of all the probability fields. And that's all the various timelines. So you see a wave pattern. So it's like you're looking out at sea, you only look at one layer in the waves coming in. And so for us, it's the same way. And then if that remains viable, for example, there are timelines that are in Armageddon now because the Ever Given wasn't run aground. So the nuclear weapons that were on that ship, it did get to their destination.
Oh, made it.
Were set off, and Israel, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia were the first that the weapons went off. And then, as Albert Pike had wrote, it spread across the Middle East and then throughout the world, creating World War III. And that was their way to get the world into a one world government.
But it was foiled. So now we continue on
these timelines. Yeah, not on, there are timelines where what the choices and the knowledge and the awareness to make those choices didn't happen, and that ship, that wasn't done. Yep. For example, there's timelines where the founding fathers didn't decide to get together. So there was no creation of the United States.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Does God do this just so he can see how things work? I mean, he's so infinite and he's so, is that why he does it? So he can see what choices we make?
Yeah, creates us and gives us free choice and watches what we do. And it's all for us to learn and to be of higher service in the highest interest of all life everywhere, and to work towards, the
being
highest fulfillment, of the highest level of, being respectful to all life everywhere and working together instead of against each other for yourself. And so it's working things out and learning the cause and effect of being service to self. And how does that look? Or service to others.
Well, it's sharing love. We need to learn to love ourselves and love each other. And that's really what it is, that vibration. If we can get into the vibration, it sounds like really hippie-ish, but it's the truth.
Yes. And I mean, it's not inherently obvious. I mean, it seems like, and admittedly, if you look at it, even service to others, if you really understand it, you are serving yourself. But in the sense that you've realized that by helping others, it winds up helping you even more.
Yes,
that it,
exactly.
doing good things for people and helping them and sharing them without thinking of yourself first comes back to
Comes
you.
back, yes.
Magnitude that's so much more than being self-serving, that in the long term, for example, we can see the effects on Earth with the industry and the big companies and the big, with the rape of the earth and all of what they're doing. In time, it will kill the earth. So how does that wind up serving yourself? In the long time, you have nowhere to live. And you can go planet to planet, but eventually that wave of destruction will catch up to you, being totally self-serving. So if you take care of it and it gives back to you, and you have this continuing growth. And then there's the technologies that are out there, so you don't even have to do that. So then if you had gone with that in the first place and not done that, now where would you be along with the entire human race? You would have an immense amount of planets with people and a massive industry and a massive amount of culture and science, and it would even be further ahead than they are. The human race would be out across not just the Milky Way, would be into Andromeda and be trading with not 1,000 or 2,000 non-terrestrial groups. They'd be trafficking with millions. You wouldn't have a population issue and worrying about people and how do we get rid of people and all this.
I know, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
They didn't think about it right. Well, you get what you give. You get what you give.
If they thought about it with service to others,
it would have been.
You would actually, the population problem you would have is there'd be so few people per planet because there's infinite planets out there. There'd be like, you'd have to have an internet to link up people to find somebody to have kids with, because the human race would be spread so thin across the stars and all the planets out there that are infinite. I mean, infinite, that means one person per planet.
I know. Do you think that'll ever happen, Gene? Do you think we'll get to a point where all this will come out and we're able to travel in our lifetimes?
Absolutely.
Oh, how cool. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I
the
think
Alliance
it's great.
is already out there along with the Reichs and all of that. And that's being cleaned up. And they've been doing that for almost 100 years now.
I'm jealous.
The first ships to the moon and Mars makes, when I first discovered it, I was like, what? 1890s?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. I'm like, what? I thought we had just beginning to understand electricity and stuff, and the internal combustion engine and that, and they're going to the other planets already.
It's been like this for years, for hundreds of years, where all this is hidden from the people.
Yeah. So they've been doing, the technology growth curve is geometric. If you consider what we're living in, they're living in opulence of 1 million years ago. But again, the more people working towards a goal, the faster that growth will be. And if it's in service to everybody, in the highest interest of everybody, everybody's going to pitch in because they're going to love it. Instead of having to work 9 to 5 to make ends meet and work like a dog, literally like a dog. Like a slave dog, we would be loving our jobs and having an excited and out there and new ideas coming. If you're not liking your job, you're not going to be thinking about ways to improve things. You're just going to do what you have to do to get the check, to pay the rent. And all
like worker bees.
Yeah. Instead of you're happy and joyful and you can't wait to get to work about the project you're currently working on, you're all excited, you're going to really, really pour yourself into it. When you're off, you're even going to be thinking of things will dawn on you because you love it.
Yeah, because I'll be so into it.
Do what they love. And so you would, the species that do this, they're literally billions of years technologically ahead of the species that are service to self, because they grow so fast and they spread out so fast, and it's joy, and every being born is celebrated and honored and taught the truth, and so that they can get, because if your way of understanding is built on a pile of lies, how are you going to arrive at new ideas that are viable? You're not.
So you're saying we'll see this in our lifetime, where we'll be able to travel and we'll be able to.
That's what the Great Awakening is. It's a time of change
okay,
in which the energy is such that everybody on Earth is waking up, because the genetic stranding that we were torn down to the last ball of 12 strands, even those 12 strands, only 2 were active. And now the third, fourth, fifth strands, many strands are turning on. There's already, if you go online, you can see triple stranding or TNA was happening in the 50s. Now there's already quad and pent, where 5 strands are activated, 4 strands are activated, and people are becoming more intelligent, more aware, and more awake. And that's why, you know, there's those of us who it just suddenly dawns on you.
I know
That a lot of what I'm looking at can't be right. This can't be right. You know, I've got to have been lied to. This doesn't make any sense at all.
we're starting to realize. Well, and I will tell you, psychically, you know, I have a clear knowing of things. And over the last few years, man, Gene, it's crazy. I just know things. And it's,
Yeah.
you know, I just do. I just
Yeah.
do.
I mean, I've had literally at a very young age, I mean, before Mazda came out with a Winkle engine, I dreamed about it.
Really?
I'm a little kid and I had it in a dream in my sleep. I'm like,
Isn't that
you can make an
crazy?
engine, you can have the thing rotating, and that would be the compression areas, be like kind of a triangular looking thing. And I mean, that's the nature of it is,
Okay.
you know, if we had all been supporting each other, that would even be more so,
I know.
because there's a common, you know, wavelength that we all share. And so
The
that
energy. Yeah.
yeah,
The
energy
vibration.
of the thoughts would be going from person to person instead of at a low level, at a very, very, very high level. And then everybody would be fueling everybody else. Everybody would be lifting everything. It wouldn't
Everybody
be,
up.
yeah. And the amount of, you know, stuff is endless out there. I mean, you know, gold, silver, you know, whatever. It's
Yeah. But it's
infinite
not about
finite,
the stuff.
infinite source. Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff would be not relevant.
Right.
Even not only that, free energy and printing, you know, where you can print like, you know, the raw elements and some, you know, genetic type material, basic stuff you can do. So if we had those technologies, then what is of value? The
Yeah.
ideas, thoughts, technologies, the new stuff coming up, culture, music, those type of things would be the individual would be extremely valued. New individuals, new ideas, new thoughts. You know, what is this new child going to bring to this, to the
Contribute.
world that we're
Yeah.
on, to the culture, to
Yeah.
our civilizations all over, everywhere.
Interesting. Interesting. Hey, we're going to commercial break. It's our last one. You guys, I'm here today with Jane Decode. This is Nancy Earl. This is Hybrid to Humanity, and we will be right back. A psychic reading, go to my website, nancyearl.com, and go to my calendar. You can book right there, pick out your date and time, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have as far as finances, your love life. A lot of people have been asking me what their life purpose is, and that's kind of fun to tell people what I get on that. So anyway, having said that, Jean, we've got another segment here. What other information? First of all, let me just say I love what you're talking about, because I can see that. I can see us doing this and how fun this is going to be. And I look forward to that time.
Yep. And, you know, you
Yeah.
can see the power that has. If you look at
Yeah.
Japanese industry,
Yeah.
people get rewarded in companies for bringing ideas to the company, and then they're shared in the profit. So
Mhm.
if everything was run that way, imagine how our, you know, world would be, let alone our cultures all
Right.
over the
Right.
earth and throughout the stars, literally
Right.
would be. And so that is the change that's happening, where it's the beginning of the change from darkness to light, of a world of darkness that is just a few people want to run everything and own everything in an incredible opulence, where in actuality, the opulence they would have had they done the other way around would be more,
Isn't that
vastly
crazy?
more.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And that's true. It's true. When you think about it, when you explain it the way you did, it made a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to be multiplying based on a small number, it's going to grow slower. But if I'm multiplying out on a massive number, billions to start with, and I'm multiplying the production, and the production has no resistance in it. It's like a circuit. You have no resistance. It's going to grow extremely fast.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh,
the amount
interesting.
of conduction is going to grow through that massively quick. And so that's the thing that these service to self types don't grasp.
Right.
But as you grasp this, and that wave goes out infinitely, and everything it hits exactly like it's pushing in front of it, and it comes back to us because there are no monopole magnetic systems. It's dipole. So if you take a magnet under a table and you put iron filings, you can see the energy coming back to the magnet. So that means it's pushing everything exactly the same frequency vibration like itself back to you. And it
Okay.
comes back massively.
See, that makes sense to me. It's the whole energy thing. That makes complete sense to me. Well, why did they figure this out? Were they that selfish that they just couldn't figure that part out?
Yeah, it's the warping of the mind by very demonic types that even got into them, that made it just a downward spiral where
Yeah.
the darkness feeds on the darkness, and it keeps absorbing itself and getting darker and wanting more, and because it's not complete, because it's separated from creator. So if you're separated from creator, there's an emptiness you can never fill.
Right.
No matter how much stuff you have,
It doesn't
without
matter.
connection to God, you can't fill a hole that you're trying to fill. A round hole you can't fill with a square pegs. You can put as many smaller pegs and bigger pegs in that hole, but you'll always have places that are empty, and there's always going to be a feeling that it doesn't fit, and I need more, and I can't, it's not working. And so they got in that, and so then that gets into judgment, and this isn't as good as this, which means they look at other people and they go, that's not as good as I am. I'm special. And when you realize we're all special, we're all beautiful, there's enough for everything, it's infinite out there, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you don't need to be
Go
greedy.
for it. Then you have this, and I'm in service, and God, and all of these things. You go, I feel so full. I want to share that. I have so much, love and compassion. I want to share it, and I have so many ideas I want to share. And then other people come to you with ideas. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's run with that and do this too.
Right.
So it's just explosive the other way.
Right. No, and I'm with you. Yeah. And I can attest to that. I will say that. When you're connected to God, you're just joyful. And
you can see the cabal mindset.
Yeah.
And we've been trained to have that same mind. So we look at others and you go, wow, I don't like how he looks. I don't like how she looks. And even you think of non-terrestrials, most people I'm aware of, they see a baby raptor or something and they go, wow, that's hideous. I don't. I look and I go, wow, it's so cute. I saw a video of one running across a lady's yard. I go, look at that run, let it go.
I agree with you. You look at people differently because you look at people through their soul instead of what they look like on the outside.
Yeah, the beauty of God's creation, and created all of us. And so, you see the perfection and the beauty in nature, and everything created everywhere, and all the planets, and all unique and all beautiful. Every person, every creature, every sentient being, even more so. You're looking at, and you're going, wow. I mean, you look at, mantas, or you look at Nordics or Palladians or whatever, and I just see the potential there, even like Draco types and that. I see what they were before they fell to darkness. I go, wow,